Where else would you rather be than right here, right now, tuning in to Bills Central Radio?
Time now for Bills Central Radio with ProFootballCentral.com's Chris Brown.
Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Touchdown, rain, sleet, or snow. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Defense, rain, sleet, or snow. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Touchdown, rain, sleet, or snow. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Defense, rain, sleet, or snow. Okay, new vibe, new feel, new coach, new Bills. Red, white, blue steel. Hard work, true skill. This year's on you, Spill. LGM, my prediction.
Here on Bills Central Radio, this is your host, Chris Brown, coming off a devastating 23-21 loss to the New England Patriots yesterday. The Buffalo Bills are feeling a little down here. Some fans might think that there were some good positive feelings coming out of yesterday, but nonetheless, they do have a 0-1 record heading into Week 2. We're going to break down the game a little bit today. We have a special guest on our show. We have Howard Simon from the Howard Simon Show on WGR 550, the Buffalo Bills Radio Network. Thanks for joining us today, Howard. How are you doing?
Good, Chris. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. Thanks for joining us today. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. First, I'll get your thoughts on yesterday's game and what your feelings were coming out of the loss that the Bills had.
I'm okay. I'm not. I was not as angry or depressed as I have been over previous season opening losses or close losses to the New England Patriots, because I thought EJ Manuel was good, and the defense looks like it will be better. So those were two big things for me going into the season. My expectations of this season were really a sub 500 record because there were so many unknowns. How's Marone going to do? What about the new coordinators, the rookie quarterback? Will the defense be better? There are rookies sprinkled, young players throughout the roster. Certainly some areas of concern like cornerback and left guard and things like that. So my expectations were not overly high for the season. I walked away from yesterday's game feeling good about Manuel. I thought it was a carryover for him from some of the things we'd seen in the preseason, and feeling better about where the defense is headed, even though, like I said, they still give up too many rush yards. They still couldn't get off the field on third down. But I saw some positive things. I liked the aggressive attack. There were some plays that they were able to make. Had a goal line stand there, and Brady eventually fumbled. So there were some positives I took from it, and I think they'll be better down the road.
Okay, now you hit a little bit about the unknown heading into the season. Let's touch a little bit more on EJ Manuel and his performance. What did you think about the rookie and his poise coming in to his first game at the Rafa? It was a pretty rowdy crowd there. How do you think he kept his composure, and overall, how do you think he did throughout the game managing the team in the no-huddle offense?
Just fine, and honestly, I think the way he looked against New England was pretty much how he had looked in the preseason. Again, granted, it's preseason, but going back to, the practices at St. John Fisher, the scrimmage, the limited time he got in the preseason games, there were very, very few occasions. One, really, I thought the first at night they had the full tackle scrimmage at St. John Fisher. Honestly, I didn't see every practice, but of the practices I saw and the preseason games, that's the only time where, to me, he looked like he had yips, like he was a little nervous back there, a little jumpy, running the offense. Other than that, I thought he showed poise. I thought he certainly looked comfortable in this offense, A, with the role of being the quarterback and the leader, but B, with digesting what Nathaniel Hackett was telling him to run, getting the play out to everybody else, making sure guys were lined up, and executing the play. So what he did on Sunday, as I said earlier, I think was a carryover. It's what we had seen from EJ Manuel over the summer. So, and it wasn't eye-opening for me because he had given me no reason to think that the job was too big for him as a rookie.
Absolutely, and you touched on the point of bringing in Nathaniel Hackett and having him converge over the plays and everything, running that no-huddle offense. At times you did see EJ change it up a little bit based on the defensive formations and everything. Now, something with the no-huddle offense, the negativity that comes about that, we saw it kind of in the fourth quarter a little bit. Some people were out there, critiquing it and saying that the Bills should have slowed it down with about 5 minutes to go there and try to milk some clock there, where Captain Eric Wood has said after his post-game interview that they were uncomfortable or they want to be up 2 touchdowns or 2 scores in order to slow it down a little more. What are your thoughts on, this new no-huddle offense, and when is the time to slow it down and kind of play the game clock management?
I think I have no problem with the no-huddle offense. I think the issue for me going in was, is the no-huddle going to be an issue when you're having a whole bunch of 3-and-outs? Let's say the game starts out and the offense isn't clicking, defense gives up a couple touchdowns, boom, you're down 14-0, and your offense is going 3-and-out, and your defense is quickly back out on the field. Now, I don't know how many teams are going to run 89 offensive snaps against the Bills. Hopefully not many, but that's what New England ran. So I like the no-huddle. The issue with the series with 5:51 left, personally, I'm conservative, so I would have tended to huddle and try and slow it down. But the problem on that series wasn't necessarily that they were not huddling or not bleeding enough time off the play and the game clock. The problem is they didn't get a first down. Even if they huddled and went 3-and-out, maybe they took, when all was said and done, a minute 20 went off. The Patriots took the ball back at 4:31. The Bills had gotten it at 5:51. If they were huddling, remember, second down was an incomplete pass, so the clock stopped anyway. If they were huddling, maybe another minute comes off the clock. So Brady would have still gotten the ball if they didn't get a first down, with 3:31 to go, all 3 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning. So I don't think the pace was the issue there. Maybe the first down. I mean, you can't make New England burn defensive timeouts and run the clock down if you go 3-and-out. So it wasn't no huddle as much as it was 3-and-out, and that's why New England had so much time left.
Absolutely. Now, you touched on the offense and the no-huddle offense. Now, let's switch gears and head over to defense. You talked a little bit about the New England Patriots running 89 plays on offense, so it alluded to an extra 15 minutes of possession for the New England offense against the Bills defense. What are your thoughts on the Bills defense and how they held up at times and kind of kept them in the game, so to speak, and gave them an actual shot to win the game?
Yeah, there were some things I liked about it. There were some issues to work on in terms of some run defense problems. They still got gashed a few times. They still gave up, I think, 6 run plays of 10 yards or more, which is a lot. They had problems, again, getting off the field on 3rd down as they've had in years past. But they took the ball away 3 times. They got some pressure on Brady. They scored a touchdown. They were very good in the red zone, 5 red zone possessions, only 2 touchdowns for Brady. The New England Patriots had 2 first and goals in their first 3 possessions of the second half. One was a fumble, one was a field goal. So I thought there were some positives. There were some moments that I liked for defense. I think it's kind of hard to judge the blitzes and that scheme and the aggressiveness, whether or not it's going to be effective from yesterday's game, because it's Tom Brady. I mean, no offense if you're a Flacco fan or a Matt Ryan fan, but that's the best quarterback the Bills are going to face on their schedule this season. So that same approach could be more effective Sunday against Cam Newton. I would think that same approach will be a lot more effective in 2 Sundays against a young quarterback like Geno Smith. So there were some things I liked. I think the defense is headed in the right direction. I like the scheme. I like what I've seen from Pettin, and I think they're faster too. They seem to be able to get to the ball a little quicker. They seem to have, as a group, more speed than they have in years past, and seem to be pursuing and tracking down plays a little bit quicker.
Now, the defense had Pro Bowler Jarvis Byrd was out for the game, also in Pro Bowl potential, their number 1 cornerback, and Stephon Gilmore. Now, a guy to watch yesterday, who I kind of think stepped up to the plate and answered the call, would be Denoris Searcy. What are your thoughts on Searcy and how he asserted himself yesterday in the defense?
Yeah, I liked his game. I mean, believe me, I'd much rather have Jarvis Byrd back there. I think he's a tremendous football player, and hopefully he's healthy and he gets over the plantar fasciitis and gets back in the lineup, and down the road they can work out these contract issues. But in terms of a young guy coming in, stepping in, I thought Searcy did a very good job. I mean, obviously, the fumble recovery for the touchdown, but he had a big sack and made some nice plays back there. So that's one of the issues, the Bills have had, as they've been bad for 13 years. One of their problems has been when a frontline guy goes out, what's what's the depth? I mean, what kind of a drop-off is there to the next guy on the depth chart? Searcy coming in and making some plays. If the Bills are thinking down the road, they're not going to give Terrence Bird what he wants. This is a great opportunity for Denoris Searcy to show the Bills, hey, don't worry about Bird. If you can't agree on a contract, let him go, trade him, whatever you're going to do, I'll be able to fill in. So for game one, with a fantastic opportunity, I thought he answered the challenge.
He, so to speak, answered the next man up philosophy that Doug Marrone has kind of instilled up on this Bills roster. Now, from everything you saw during the offseason through the draft and the OTAs, mini camps, and training camps, is there anything that stood out to you that surprised you yesterday, whether it be on offensive, defense, or even special teams?
Well, the kick returns were a negative yesterday. I thought New England did a nice job on the first two kickoffs to Goodwin, kind of pushing them into the corner there. They did a good job with their directional kickoffs on the first two, really near the side of the end zone, so there wasn't much room. They cornered them in, and there wasn't much room. But then I thought Goodwin could have returned the third kickoff. I thought his kickoffs against Indianapolis were phenomenal, and he's obviously got blazing speed, and I think that could be a great weapon. And I was a little disappointed. I thought the third. I like the fact that in the preseason in Indy, he's 8 yards deep in the end zone, and he's still bringing it out. Great. I mean, make them stop you. Good. That's aggressive. Attack. Why not? Give it a shot. He didn't do that yesterday. And then he gets hurt, and Graham comes in, and Graham's one kickoff to the one return he had. He fumbles the kick, then he picks it up. He's indecisive. Am I running? Am I not running? And he gets to like the 12-yard line. So returning it looked very good in the preseason, but I thought it was really a non-factor. The punt return and the kick return units didn't make a single play yesterday.
Sure, absolutely. Now, switching gears, heading back to the offense a little bit. It was at times the offensive halfback draw with Spiller was not impressive at times and was stagnant. And then all of a sudden, Fred Jackson comes in and there was holes open, and Freddie kind of added a little spark to the offense a little bit. What are your thoughts on the situation going on with Spiller and Jackson? Obviously, Spiller is still the lead back. But what do you think of Jackson coming in and giving a spark to the offense a little?
I'm not surprised. I mean, I think Fred Jackson is a pretty motivated guy this season. The last couple of years he's had injury issues. Last year he had a career low yards per carry. He had some fumbling issues, which he really has not had in his career. He's been pretty reliable, but he fumbled a few times, lost a few fumbles last year. So I think, and CJ obviously became the big story, clearly became the number one back, and I think if you're Fred Jackson, I wouldn't say chip on the shoulder, but I think very motivated to come back and show people that he can still play, he can be very effective and be a key part of this offense. I think back 2 years ago, he also had a really good start. And, people were talking about Fred Jackson as like a possible MVP at the quarter pole or just beyond. And, he was on pace, I think, if not to come close to the Bills franchise record, but maybe even break the record for total yards from scrimmage. And he was putting up numbers like Turpin and OJ. So I think he is incredibly motivated. I thought he was going to come back and have a really strong season in whatever role he had. The CJ thing was a head scratcher. I don't know. Listen, we were looking at one of his runs today where maybe he got dinged in the head early in the game, and I have no idea if that happened and affected him or not. But you'd hope that there was maybe something to it. Was he not feeling well? He said he was fine after the game, but he looked, slow. He looked a little tentative. He looked like the C.J. Spiller of a few years ago, not the C.J. Spiller from last season. So I was really puzzled at his day yesterday.
Okay. Now, the last two-part question here. Thank you again for joining us today. The question is, what are your thoughts about the Bills defense heading into the Carolina game with, a different transition from a pocket passer in Brady to a mobile quarterback in Cam Newton? And then what are your overall thoughts with the game coming up this weekend with the Carolina Panthers? What do you think is going to happen?
I hope they win. I think it is a big game because, if you look at the schedule, you have the loss to New England, you can come back, and if you can beat Carolina, then you got the Jets the week after that. Look, the next two games on the schedule are winnable. And so you could be staring at, now you're 2-1 with Baltimore coming in. And if you get through the first month of the season at 2-2, you got Cleveland and Cincinnati after that. Again, down the road, maybe you're thinking 3-3. It's important for this team So just get some confidence and find a way to win some football games. And it's a home game. So, yeah, I think it is big, because if you lose that, now you're 0-2. And who knows, now maybe you're doubting yourself a little bit going into the game against the Jets. And now you're staring at, are they going to lose to Baltimore too? So best case scenario is 1-3 in the first month. So I do think it's a big game for them. As far as the defense and the mobile quarterback, I don't think it'll be as big an issue because they practice against a mobile quarterback. I mean, they've seen quarterbacks run through training camp and the preseason when they go up against E.J. Manuel. Now, maybe he won't run as much as Cam Newton will run, but I don't think it's not going to catch him by surprise. I think they will have prepared certainly during the week to face Cam Newton, but they would have prepared against mobile quarterbacks over the course of the summer. So I don't think I'm hoping it won't play out like, say, last year's game in Toronto, when Russell Wilson ran all over the place and the Bills looked like they'd never seen a mobile quarterback before.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely not something that we're looking forward to as far as last year goes. So hopefully we can, shape that up and come out of Sunday with a 1-1 record heading into Week 3. Thanks once again for joining us today, Howard. Where can our fans and listeners catch you on WGR as far as your radio show and also your Twitter account? They can follow you as well.
Oh, well, it's really cool. My bosses appreciate the plug. You can listen to us online at WGR550.com. You can download our app for free, the WGR app, and you have a link to listen to us there. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's HSimon62. So that's very nice of you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Thanks for tuning in to Bills Central Radio. For Bills news, updates, stats, highlights, and more, log on to ProFootballCentral.com.
Shout, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, touchdown, rain, sleet, or snow, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, defense, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, touchdown, rain, sleet, or snow, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, defense, rain, sleet, or snow. Okay, new vibe, new feel, new coach, new Bills, red, white, blue steel, hard work, true skill. This year's on you, Spill. LDM, I'm predicting that. Touchdown, Stevie Johnson, swag cooking.